Psalm 91, verse 3 and 4. Surely he shall deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the perilous pestilence. He shall cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you shall take refuge. Now, Psalm 91 begins to mention several examples of dangers, problems that may come to a person. And he illustrates with great property, and those who lived in the time of King David and lived like him understood these expressions very well. This psalm comes to illustrate on how God works on behalf of those who live in his shelter. So when he mentions that he shall deliver you, God will deliver you from the snare of the fowler. Anyone who has ever lived in the countryside knows how to hunt birds. Usually there's a type of trap or of snare in which the bird is attracted to food, and when they bite the food in its innocence, then the trap is triggered and the bird gets stuck, and usually it cannot escape. When they are stuck in the trap, they cannot escape. This speech refers to the dangers surrounding us that we all face. Dangers, traps, people who want to hurt us. They are always cheering against us, and they want to hear bad news about us. And they even plot against us. Just as when the hunter sets the trap for the bird to fall into it, many they set up traps for you to stumble and to suffer some damage, and who knows, even your own life. And unfortunately, this happens in the evil world that we live in. How many are victims of deceit, evil things, victims of scams, even of their own family members, because our family members know us very well. Our friends know us well. And when there's something evil, a revengeful desire, a bad intention, they can use what they know about us against us. They use our weakness against us. These are examples of snares that surround us, but there are many others that we can fall into. The Bible also speaks of the snare of the adulterous woman, the woman who seduces. Here we can also include men. How many have fallen into the snare of adultery? What is the snare of adultery? When you hear the word snare, apparently it's not a trap. The trap, the snare, doesn't look like one. The idea behind a trap is that it may not look like one. The appearance must be attractive. So in the same way, many fall into the trap of adultery because they look at someone from the opposite sex. The man looks at the woman, he is married, and is looking at the woman at work, and at times they spend more time or hours with that woman than their own wife in the house, and they start to desire, and that trap is there, and him, as a bird, falls into that snare, falls into adultery, and usually loses his family. If it does not lose the family, it destroys their relationship. How many fall into adultery? How many women have been falling into adultery? Women frustrated with their husbands. Women that are not satisfied, fulfilled in their marriage, and they look at someone at their work and say, this one is better than my husband. I have the right to be happy. So the snare is very attractive. The arguments are very appealing. And then the person suspends the judgment, the reasoning, and they fall like an innocent animal. And you see that betrayal is happening for millennia. Everybody knows that it goes wrong. Everybody knows it destroys, but it keeps on growing. People know about the mistake and they keep running towards it. This is the work of evil, to make evil to look attractive, to cover it with honey, to cover it with a nice perfume, to attract the senses of those who are distracted. Some fall by the eyes, others by the ears, when they hear a fake news, a deceiving talk. Today, children are falling into snares where they are taught wrong things, contrary to the truth. They are being taught that they can choose their sex. This is a snare. It's a snare. That they are being influenced by it. Children have been falling into snares. Many people are falling into the trap of wealth, the trap of being rich at any cost. Then the person, by the money that shines to their eyes, they go after the money, and it doesn't matter what it costs. If it is a pyramid investment, and it's funny how every pyramid investment soon says it is not a pyramid scheme. Every pyramid scheme says it is not pyramid investment. The person is so focused on money, so obsessed by the money, that they don't see the snare, they only see the promise that is in it. If I grab all my money, take all my savings, and invest here, oh, I will make a lot of money. Soon, the money that they invested flies away, goes away, flies like a bird. And they are there, trapped into the snare of the fowler. Isn't what is happening to many, even non-people, capable people? But why? Why have they fallen into that trap? Because they saw with the eyes of greed. They allowed their feelings, their heart, to take advantage of them. That's it. Psalm 91 promises that God will deliver us from the snare of the fowler. And not only the snare of the fowler, but also the perilous pestilence, which means diseases. Diseases that spread from person to person. But remember, further into the psalm, when Satan told Jesus and cited part of the psalm, throw yourself from here, and then he cited the psalm that God will give charge to his angels to protect you, but Jesus replied to him, it's also written that you shall not tempt your God. So it's not because God promises to deliver us from these snares that we should be irresponsible and tempt God thinking like this. No, God will deliver me. I will do this. That is wrong, that is dangerous, but I will do it because I'm in the shelter of the Most High. No, you are no longer there. Because if you want to tempt God and to throw yourself into the dangers, the traps that you know that are set for you, you are tempting God. You will no longer be delivered by Him. because you're doing it intentionally. It's implied in this deliverance from things that you don't see. Without you having the intention to fall into them, you would fall. It's implied that this deliverance will be for this, but not for a irresponsible behavior, flirting with evil. Because of some reason, you are protected and you are special. There are many in the cemetery that believed in this. No, I'm protected, I'm lucky. These things don't reach me, they don't happen to me, I'm very lucky. Those who count on luck, they also have to count on bad luck. Don't forget that, because the source is the same. And God does not work with that. God works with the promise. So as long as you are dwelling in the shelter of the Most High, and someone rises against you, and to intend something against you, then He promises, under His wings you shall take refuge. He shall cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you shall take refuge. So this implies that you should be under His wings, that is, close to Him. So as long as you are close to Him, His wings, the wings of the Most High, will cover you. And no snare, no pest, no trap, no danger that surrounds you or that someone intends against you will strike you. If today's video helped you and you know someone that could benefit from it, share it with them, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you may do so now. See you later.